And our professor, the first day of class, she's like 15 minutes late. She's later than us. And she comes in all frazzled, dazzled. I remember her name. I remember it was like yesterday. I can't believe I'm going to tell this story. This story is very
I
incriminating.
love that you're telling this story.
It's very incriminating, though. But it's a hardcore story. But this tells you why Hank and I, through thick and thin, we were boys. So Dorothy Mecom says, "Oh, sorry I'm late, guys. I ran out of my Adderall. I've been a total mess." And Hank's like, "Oh, I know where to get Adderall." It makes a joke, right? You know, just total joke. But is he joking? I don't know. The teacher pulls us to the side after class and is like, pulls Hank. And I just follow Hank because I think he's in trouble. And she's like, "Hey, you made that joke about Adderall. Can you really get it?" And Hank immediately, I mean, his eyes lit up like dinner plates. Hank's like, "Yeah, we know where to get Adderall. That's really easy to find." And she goes, and this is the crazy thing. She goes, you know what I need more than Adderall? And Hank and I are like, "What?"
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but listen, the story gets crazy. She goes, "I need some pain pills. My back hurts real bad." And me and Hank are like, yeah, we kind of know where to get those. So what's the deal? Like, we get you those. What are you going to do? She's like, "All right, remember, this is in a hallway of LSU. She goes, "You guys can give me some of those pain pills. I'll give you A's in the class." And Hank and I are like, "Okay." And we have no idea where to get pain pills. No freaking clue.
Wow.
We have no idea. We leave that day. And you have to remember, we're at LSU in Baton Rouge when all the other students, the good students, are gone. So, like, there's people on campus, but, like, you know, 1/100th the amount of students. So there's no, like, dealers. It's just harder to get stuff. Hank finagles it, a girl that just got her wisdom teeth out from Dallas. We drove and we got all of her wisdom teeth medicine. We begged her. We're like, "We need this."
So you know what? In your own way, you earned that A.
We did. Oh, trust me. We had to drive.
It had nothing to do with the subject that it was about, but you earned that A.
But the story gets crazier. So we go and we get the pills. It took us 7 hours. We missed that next day, and we bring it to her on the third day. And she's like, "All right, guys, great. You get your A's." So Hank and I don't even worry about the class. And then the day before the exam, the teacher calls us and goes, "Hey, I need one more hookup." We're like, "Oh, God." And she already has us by the balls, right? Because, you know, we've already done this illegal drug deal with our teacher, so we're already scared to death.
Well, one could argue that you have her by the proverbial balls.
But we didn't want to get kicked out of school. Hank and I were both on academic.
Sure, she didn't want to lose her job.
But we're on academic probation at this time. Hank and I, you know, we were double academic probation, double secret probation. She calls us. She's like, we need another one. And this story gets really gross. I'm going to tell the end of the story because it gets so gross. So we don't know where to get any more. We're like, "Oh my gosh, we got to do this again. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" We make a bunch of phone calls, this and that. We find a guy who had a knee surgery. So we get his pills. One of our friends' brothers had the knee surgery. We get him. Hank had already left out of town. I was in town. Hank's like, "You got to go give it to her." And I'm like, "Oh God, Hank, I got to give it to Dorothy." So Dorothy makes me go to her house. And then and let me describe what this teacher looked like. She was 300 pounds, and she looked like a rhinoceros. Like, her nose it kind of had an uptick, and she was 300 pounds, and literally she looked like a wild beast. And she sits me down, Vic, and she's like, "Do you want to smoke some weed?" And I'm like, "Not really, no." And she's like, "Well, I need to smoke some weed to, you know, calm my nerves." I'm like, "Okay." So she sits there, she rolls up a joint. Remember, this is my college professor. She starts smoking it, and I give her the things, and I'm like, all right, Dorothy, I got to go." She's like, "Hey, can you sit down for a second? You know, you want a beer or something?" I'm like, no, because I was very awkward to say the least. And this is the craziest thing she said to me. She's like, "I really appreciate this, Alex. Can I ask you a personal question?" And I'm like, "Sure." She goes, "Have you ever been with a girl and her pussy is too tight?"
Oh, gosh. Alex.
Yes, I swear, I'm not even trying to be gross. I'm not trying to be gross. She says this to me, Vic. I know, and I'm sorry that your mom saw this, but she says, "Have you ever been with a woman whose vagina is so tight?" And I said, "No, I've never been like that. And what's going on? How is that the case?" She goes, "Well, I'm dating this guy." She says this to me, she with a straight face. "He won't have sex with me because he says my vagina is too tight. So he makes me give him BJs." And she says, "I don't know if it's that I'm so good at giving BJs or if I do have a tight vagina." This is a true story, Vic. This is a true story. I swear. So I'm sitting there like, am I going to have sex with my teacher? This is true.
Poor Vic.
And here I came to be of encouragement tonight. And this is what I.
Well, this is a true story. This is with Hank. This is a story that
Give me
Hank.
1 second. I gotta text somebody.
Oh gosh.
Texting LSU.
No, do not text LSU. Do not text him. So, long story short, I got out of there with my pants.
Named Dorothy.
No, not Dorothy Mecom.
She used to teach there.
Sociology. Do not look her up. So.
Everybody in your show's looking her up now.
And I think Hank, before he died, he said, I had reconnected with Dorothy. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want anything to do with her. She sexually, came on to me so strong. I've never had a woman
I'm sure you told him.
Oh yeah, Hank was the first person.
And what did he say?
He said I should have banged her. He said I should have banged her. But we got A's anyways.
My grind so refined, I got no time for no games. Ask yourself why.